Thank you, Radka. And again, I think this was quite a distinctive aspect of the book. I've been researching and writing in higher education for a long time now. But I really discovered design in about 2016, 2017, and everything I'd researched and everything I'd written up until that time had been single authored. There'd been this typical individualistic approach to research that we have certainly in the social sciences in HE. And almost everything I've done since 2017 has been as a joint author, as part of a bigger team, like this particular project was. And I think it shows some of the pragmatism and some of the humility around design, that no single person has all the answers, that there's a lot of collective experience and collective wisdom in the room, as we'll see this morning, for us to draw on. So, as Radka said, we sent out a survey. We had 19 responses, and we tried to identify various themes. So we asked people, do you remember the first time? What was your first contact with the idea of design thinking or service design? And for most people, it was what we might call serendipity or happenstance. They'd stumbled across it very, very randomly from a podcast or by turning up to a book launch. And it just immediately chimed with their values. That suddenly there was a framework, a terminology that gave names and strategies to tools to what they did, or what they wanted to do, or what they felt about higher education. And for others, we described it as the itch that you can't scratch. That they had a dissatisfaction with existing approaches and challenges to creating change in higher education, and therefore they purposefully sought out different mindsets and different paradigms. So those were the two different approaches to the first contact with human-centered design. We then asked them, what was the light bulb moment? What was the moment where you went, aha, this might mean something to me. This might be something that I can take and use in my own practice. And again, there were two themes that emerged. For some people, it was an immediate sense of epiphany. People used language like, it all just clicked, that it was a feeling of fit. It was kind of an emotional response for some people. Some people told us they felt that they'd found their tribe finally, people who shared the same values as them, the same aspirations. But for others, it was through a slower process of application. But it was by doing and applying design methods to their own practice in higher education that they saw that it got results, and they saw that it energized people, and they saw that it helped them create a better experience for the students. And then finally, we asked them what made it stick. We all, I think especially in HE, we're all neophytes. We're all, there's a phrase I'm going to use in an event later, we're all like puppies chasing butterflies in a garden. There's always a new idea for us to follow and chase and to get excited by. So why did service design stick for our respondents at least, and what keeps the flame alive? And there were three themes that emerged here. So for a lot of our respondents, it just became an internalized mindset, that it changed the way in which they see the world. It changed the way in which they frame problems and think about how they might go about addressing those sorts of problems. The role of other people was really important. It was important for our respondents that they were part of networks or they had relationships, so that they didn't feel alone. I think you'll kind of share this experience that talking about human-centered design in HE has been quite a lonely furrow in recent years. And it's really important to have support and connection. And finally, the power of stories and the ripple effect of people sharing the experience of applying human-centered design to the student experience, to higher education, and really sharing how the impact of that, to really summarize then, what our respondents told us was how it works. And what they told us is that it's often incredibly effective, but also how it feels they said that it lets us do our jobs in ways that reflect our values and connects us to other people. So there's some really powerful testimony that emerged in that chapter.
Thank you. Beautifully said. Thank you so much, Michael.